Welcome. This playlist will collect together and organize the individual video component modules that together will comprise a relatively brief orientation for my sections of critical thinking, Philosophy 170. Since the university schedule doesn't allot any lecture time for my hybrid section of this course, and since the online-only section of this course is run primarily asynchronously, I'm putting together this video to give you a general overview of the course and the resources available to you. This is the first term that I've taught this course within the Canvas framework, and so I'm still building parts of the course website out. Most of the content is already in place. However, I still need to create and post a few quizzes and tests and put them in the appropriate places in the gradebook. I'll try and get that done as soon as possible. What we're looking at here is the landing page, the home page for one of the sections of 170. On the right-hand side, you'll see upcoming assignments together with their due dates. On the left-hand side, you have a menu with all the various components of a typical Canvas page. Going down the middle are all of the modules that I've created for this course. The first module is the syllabus. Now, I've attached the syllabus to the announcement that went out on Sunday morning, but if you need another copy of the syllabus, you can't seem to find where it is or so on, by all means come here and you can download the syllabus from here. When you click on a particular course module, it will bring up the following template. The module will tell you what the topic is for the module, talk about the lesson overview and the learning objectives. There'll be a link to my Zoom office hours and to my email. There will then be readings broken down on a week-by-week basis, links to video playlists that collect together and organize each of the lectures that are assigned for that week. Then there is a link to any quizzes or tests and links to any extra credit assignments that are due for that week. I imagine that you already know what quizzes look like on Canvas, and you're now watching one of the video playlists. So let's click here on a link to the reading. For a significant portion of the class, I've written chapters myself. They're available to you for free, and when you click on a link, you can pull them up in your browser. Feel free to download them, highlight them, read them, etc. My goal in writing these particular chapters was to give you approximately 25 pages of assigned text together with diagrams, pictures, movies to illustrate the various points and to give you content that is in fact, in my opinion, much more relevant to your actual practices in the real world than many of the critical thinking texts that you will find available. I haven't been able to complete the entire text for the course, and so we will be relying on some sections and chapters from a standard critical thinking text. That material is basically hundreds or thousands of years old. It hasn't changed very much, and it was the lowest priority for me in writing chapters for the students. Now might be a good time for us to take a look at the syllabus for a couple of key points. As I mentioned, you're going to have to buy a copy of a standard critical thinking textbook. I'll try and minimize how much you'll have to rely on it. I encourage you to buy used books or to rent those books. The particular textbook that I use is pretty much any edition from 10th to the present of a book by Dr. Patrick Hurley, A Concise Introduction to Logic. There are just a couple of other aspects of the syllabus that I want to go over, and I'll leave you to review the syllabus, familiarize yourself with the Canvas page on your own, and ask any questions through email during office hours, or if you're in the hybrid section at our next meeting. The first thing I want to talk about are the assignments and the assessment plan. So I organized this class in a way that encourages students to go through the material as we're progressing through the class, to have a relatively risk-free first assessment of their understanding of the material in the form of a quiz, followed by an extra credit quiz where they can earn up to 10% of their quiz grade in extra credit points that would be applied to that quiz grade. After the quizzes, there's an extra credit practice test. You can take that test, earn 10% of the possible points for the test, and then you take the test. And we'll go through that 6 times. So the course is going to be based upon 6 tests that are going to cover the material. The 6th test will be given to you during finals week. None of the tests are cumulative, and together they'll count for 60% of your overall course grade. So 10% for each test. Those quizzes that I was just talking about are going to happen every week. There'll be 15 homework assignments or quizzes, and they'll be worth 35% of your overall course grade. And again, for both the tests and the quizzes, you'll be able to earn up to 10% of the scores for each of them by doing the extra credit. So I'm trying to incentivize you to rehearse and study the material. There's actually one more thing about the structure of the course, and specifically about the tests and the quizzes that I want to emphasize to students. So I previewed a quiz here, and this is what it'll look like when you take the quiz. When you submit the quiz, you'll get the following feedback. You'll be told what the questions were, what the correct answers were, and you'll be given feedback, detailed feedback about every question in your test. If you didn't answer one of the questions correctly, then it will tell you that you didn't do that. And in this summary feedback, it'll tell you why it was that each of the individual parts of the question were in fact required as part of the answer. I do this so that these quizzes aren't just boring tests of student knowledge, but instead they are actually a means of studying, rehearsing, and better understanding the material. Every quiz and every test is drawn from a large question bank, so I don't have to worry about students finding the answers for the questions and then giving them to all their friends. Instead, I can use these quizzes and the tests and the extra credit assignments to help you better understand and rehearse the material. Having clarified that little bit about our quizzes and tests, I should return to the assessment overview here. The final portion of your grade will be determined by participation, specifically 5% of your total grade. If you're in an online-only section, that means you need to submit all the required homework and attend at least 3 of the review sessions. If you're in the hybrid section, it means you have to attend at least 10 of the hybrid lectures and at least 3 of the review sessions. Now, the way I administer our assignments, Sunday morning, you'll get an announcement. That announcement will contain links to all the readings, all the lectures, all the quizzes, and they will be available to you until 11:59 p.m. on the following Saturday, with the exception of the 6th test. That will occur during the final period for our course, which is on the syllabus below. Now, I adhere to the regular university policy on withdrawals, and I don't curb grades in this class because there's so much extra credit available to students. I encourage you to familiarize yourself with the Canvas site, to look over all of the information and policies on the syllabus, and if you have any questions, send me an email, stop by office hours in my office or on Zoom, and otherwise have a great first week of the term.